Hi everyone. So in this video session we are going to start with a new topic, that is in organic chemistry biomolecules. So we are going to discuss very important MCQs regarding both for NEET exam as well as for your CET examinations. Before starting with MCQs, let me give which are those important topics which comes under these biomolecules, which are very much needed for you people to go through these concepts without fail for NEET as well as for your CET examinations. Here, the important topics for biomolecules are, so which is that very first topic I have given. So that is structures of monosaccharides, disaccharides, that includes oligosaccharides. So usually you can consider we are going to learn in detail, that is particularly especially with respect to the examples with regarding to the classification of the carbohydrates. So carbohydrates, as you know, they can be classified based on the number of monomer units they are present, and here we can consider monosaccharides like glucose, fructose, and even you can go for disaccharides. We can consider sucrose, maltose, lactose. These are the important examples that you should remember. You should be able to recognize the structures of those examples. Either it will be open structure or it will be closed ring structure. You should be much familiar about those structures. And next, if we come for chemical reactions of glucose. So those chemical reactions of glucose, they comes under elucidation of structure of glucose. So glucose ಗೆ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಎಲಿಸಿಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅನಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಗ್ಲೂಕೋಸ್ ಇದೇ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಸೊ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಕೆಮಿಕಲ್ ರಿಯಾಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ನ ಕಂಡಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ದೋಸ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಕೆಮಿಕಲ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ರಿಯಾಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ನೋಯಿಂಗ್ ವಿತೌಟ್ ಫೇಲ್. So that comes under elucidation of structure of glucose. Then regarding amino acids, you should be thorough about classification of amino acids, whether they are acidic in nature or basic in nature or neutral in nature. You should be knowing their formulas and you should be able to predict whether they are acidic or basic or even they are said to be neutral in nature. So you should be thorough about the topic amino acids along with the examples. And you can consider even those amino acids which are bonded through peptide bond. You should be able to recognize the number of peptide bonds in those chain of amino acids. Then if you come for denature of proteins, that is you should be knowing the definition for what is denaturation of proteins and which are the sources which are needed and what are the methods we are going to apply for denaturation of proteins. Then regarding classification of vitamins, we can classify the vitamins based on their solubility, whether they are soluble in water or insoluble in water, and you should know the examples for those vitamins which are water soluble and which are not water soluble. Then regarding biological functions of nucleic acids, these nucleic acids includes both RNA as well as DNA. You should know which are the sugar moieties present and which are the bases they are containing and what is that main difference between these DNA and RNA with respect to different basic units and sugar moieties which are present in DNA as well as RNA. So these are the important topics you have to be thorough. That will be given in your theoretical concepts already. So you just go through those theoretical concepts and you can easily learn those structures and examples whatever I had explained regarding all these topics. Here we can start with very first question. So which of the following statement is not correct? So they have given the 4 statements. You have to select the wrong statement. O-albumin is a simple food reserve in egg white. So here O-albumin is one of the component which is present in egg white. It will be acting as food reserve. That is true. We can accept that. Blood proteins. Next, blood proteins thrombin and fibrinogen are involved in blood clotting. So we can accept this also because fibrinogen and thrombin are the main cause for the clotting of the blood. Then next, denaturation makes the proteins more active. We can't accept it because once you conduct a denaturation process, then whether the protein is treated with strong alkali or strong acid, then it will loses its original property. It will loses its original structure as well as original property. Hence, it will be no more active after denaturation process. Therefore, this is the wrong statement what they have mentioned, but it is the right option. because they are asking for selecting the statement which is not correct. So this is that right option. And even if you go for the last option, that is insulin maintains sugar level in the blood of the human body, of course it is 100% true, as you know very well. Therefore, which is that right option? That is option C is the right option. Next, the central dogma of molecular genetics states that the genetic information flows from, as you know, nucleic acids plays a major role in transmitting the genetic information from one generation to the another generation. Even it plays a major role in synthesis of the proteins in our body. So as you can consider here, that as given in this question itself, that is molecular genetics states that the genetic information flows from, but there should be a certain sequence for the flowing of this genetic information. So who will be the initiator, where that code will be embedded? So whatever the genetic codes we can consider, that will be embedded inside DNA. So for the synthesis of protein, very first we have to start with the DNA. What is that genetic information will be given? That will be transmitted to the RNA, then it will be given to proteins for the synthesis. So here we can consider amino acids to proteins, then DNA. No, it is wrong. It will not start with amino acids. DNA to carbohydrates. There is no role for carbohydrates with respect to this transmission of genetic codes. DNA to RNA, then RNA. So it is helping for the synthesis of the protein, and that code will be given from who? DNA. So it is the correct sequence. We can opt option C is the right answer. So DNA to RNA giving that information to carbohydrates, not at all. Therefore, option C will be the right answer. Next question. Which one given below is a non-reducing sugar? So you have to select reducing sugar and non-reducing sugar. You know that the monosaccharides are all, they are said to be reducing sugar because they contain free aldehydic group and free ketonic group. But if we come for disaccharides such as fructose, not fructose, sucrose, maltose and lactose, here we can consider they have given different options. Some will be reducing sugar and other will be non-reducing sugar. One ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಡೈಸ್ಯಾಕರೈಡ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಆ ಗ್ಲೈಕೋಸಿಡಿಕ್ ಲಿಂಕೇಜ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾದರೂ ಆಲ್ಡಿಹೈಡಿಕ್ ಅಂತ ಕೀಟೋನಿಕ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಏನಾದರೂ ಇನ್ವಾಲ್ವ್ ಆದರೆ, then there will be no chance for reducing property. Therefore, here whichever that sugar moiety we can consider, that is sucrose. So sucrose is a disaccharide in which ಒಂದು ಗ್ಲೂಕೋಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಫ್ರಕ್ಟೋಸ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಗ್ಲೈಕೋಸಿಡಿಕ್ ಲಿಂಕೇಜ್ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಕಂಬೈನ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಆ ಗ್ಲೈಕೋಸಿಡಿಕ್ ಲಿಂಕೇಜ್ ಆಗೋದ್ರಿಂದ, so there will be no free aldehydic group or ketonic group adjacent to CHOH group. Therefore, we can consider, because of absence of free aldehydic or ketonic group, sucrose is said to be non-reducing sugar. But if you go for glucose, then maltose and then lactose, all these are containing free aldehydic or ketonic group we can consider. Therefore, they are said to be reducing. So which is the right option? Which one given below is non-reducing, they are asking. Therefore, option B is the right answer. So next question. The correct corresponding order of names of 4 aldos with configurations given below. Here they have mentioned the configurations for aldoses. Here we can consider these are the carbohydrates which contains aldehydic group as a functional group, hence they are considered as aldoses. But they will be given different names. So as you can consider here, 1, 2, 3, 4 carbon atoms are lying. So here terminal position CHO group, and here there is presence of CH2OH group. And in the second case also CHO and here CH2OH. So they are similar in terminal positions. They are having similar CHO and CH2OH group. They are differing in the arrangement of the OH and H on either side, left side and right hand side. As you can consider very first example, if CHO is above and CH2 is below, 2 OH group are on the same side, but particularly they are said to be on right hand side, then they are named as D-erythrose. So the first configuration, the name will be D-erythrose. And next, if you consider here, it is at same side, but it is at transposition, opposite side. So it is erythrose, but it is triose. Here we can consider D-erythrose, but here it is triose. It is D-triose we can consider. And next example what they have mentioned here, this configuration is representing erythrose. But here it is opposite to mirror image is just isomer which is mirror image of this one. So hence we can consider these two are isomers. If it is D erythrose, then it should be L erythrose. So it is on right hand side means D here, left hand side means L. It is not meant with a capital, it is a small d and small l. We can represent dextrorotatory, levorotatory. But it is not a small l and small d, but they are representing D, capital D and capital L with respect to the standard configuration. Got it? And here we can go for the third one. So it is having the mirror image of the first one, hence we can consider it is L erythrose. And the last one is triose. It is the mirror image of the second isomer, hence it is triose we mentioned, that is D triose and it is L triose. Then among these four options, which is that order we can consider, first two are D erythrose, D triose. Where do you come across this? D triose correct, and but triose is not the correct one. So hence last option D erythrose and it is D triose, and here it is L erythrose and L triose. Therefore option D is the right answer. Next question. The correct statement regarding RNA and DNA respectively is, so they are mentioned with respect to their sugar component, sugar moiety present in DNA and RNA. So what is that expansion for RNA and DNA? It is ribonucleic acid and deoxyribonucleic acid. So ribose, the sugar moiety present in RNA is ribose sugar, and the sugar moiety present in DNA is deoxyribose. The name itself represents, one is deoxy, other one is ribose sugar. Therefore here which are those four options? Among the four options we have to select the correct one. The sugar component in RNA is arabinose. In DNA it is ribose. So it is not correct. Both are wrong. The sugar component in RNA is 2-deoxyribose. So it is wrong. And in DNA is arabinose. It is also wrong. C. The sugar component in RNA is arabinose. It is wrong. And in DNA it is 2-deoxyribose. So of course it is correct, but it is wrong. So the last option, the sugar component in RNA is ribose. We can accept this. This is the right one. And in DNA it is 2-deoxyribose. Agar RNA alli ribose sugar ide, DNA alli 2-deoxy and the second position alli deoxyribose and the consider ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. Got it? Therefore we can consider, that is without oxygen, deoxyribose. Therefore option D is the right answer. Next question. In a protein molecule, various amino acids are linked by. So here we can find the amino acids. NHCO bond will be present between two amino acids. And this linkage will be considered as peptide bond. So there will be combination of that NH and CO between two adjacent amino acids. That bond is actually called as peptide bond. Then here among the four options, what they are mentioning here, peptide bond, dative bond, glycosidic bond. It is alpha glycosidic, it is beta glycosidic. Dative, that is with respect to coordinate bond, and glycosidic linkages are present in what? That is carbohydrates. Therefore, which is the right option? That is peptide bond, that is CONH linkage between two amino acid units, that is called as peptide bond. Hence, the right answer is option A. The next question. D plus glucose reacts with hydroxylamine and yields an oxime. The structure of the oxime would be, as you can consider that oxime will be containing CH double bond NOH, that is considered as oxime. When glucose is made to react with hydroxylamine means that is NH2OH. As you can consider in the open chain structure of the glucose, very first, that is there will be terminal CH4 group will be there. So that is CH double bond O. It will be interacting with NH2OH. So here there will be removal of water. So once there is removal of oxygen, one oxygen and two hydrogen atoms, and it will be left over with what? That is NH. As you can find, nitrogen contain one hydrogen atom, NH, and there will be presence of O. And now we can find, because of loss of water molecule, there will be formation of CH as it will be present. Then we can find there will be presence of double bond. After double bond, oxygen. So very first we can find that oxygen, that is nitrogen, when it is bonded through oxygen and hydrogen. That specific functional group will be considered as oxime group. Here very importantly, they have mentioned in all these options, they have mentioned CH, double bond NOH is present. But here we should be careful enough while selecting the correct structure. It should be having correct structural formula as with respect to starting reagent, that is glucose. So if you start with glucose, here the terminal position, initially there will be CH double bond O. Here we can start H, then we can consider H, OH, HH. So we can take that sequence H, H, OH, HH. Where do you find that sequence? Here among these, that second carbon should be bonded to hydrogen. Where do you come across that? Here there will be presence of H. So second carbon we can start with. First carbon, that is H, it is involved in function group. But here it is converted into already CHNOH. And second carbon atom left side, it contains H. Then third carbon OH. Then HH. We can find that combination. LE combination ಕಾಣಿಸುತ್ತೆ ನೋಡಿ. ಈ first one ಬಿಟ್ಟು next to H, OH, HH. H, OH, HH. So it is the right sequence on the left hand side. Here if you observe here, we can find OH it is wrong. And in the next one, that is also OH, it is also wrong. But in the next very first option also, that second carbon atom on left hand side is attached to H, then OH. But it is not HH, but it is OH. Again there is a change. Where do you get this sequence on the left hand side of the glucose structure? And it is already converting into oxime, glucose oxime. So that H will be already present here. And the next carbon atom H, then OH, then H and H. You remember this sequence on the left hand side of the open chain structure of glucose. So here you remember whatever the reactions which comes under elucidation of structure of glucose. All those reactions along with their structures like this, you should be very much familiar. Now which is that right option? Option D is the right option. Here glucose is converting into glucose oxime. Only that CHO group is involved in the reaction. And the remaining original placement of these H and OH on either side will remain as it is, which was there in the open chain structure of the glucose. Got it? So that is the right sequence. Option D is right answer. Next question. Which of the following hormones is produced under the conditions of stress which stimulate, that is glycogenolysis in the liver human beings? Usually when we comes under stress, so like under very different circumstances, unexpected circumstances. So when you come under stress, immediately there will be generation of the glucose, that is glycogen will be converting into glucose in our liver. So here that will be helpful to just control our stress. That hormone can be already considered as flight or fight hormone. So which is that hormone? Now we can easily remember, that is nothing but adrenaline. Actually adrenaline, which will be called as fight or flight hormone. Got it? Because it will be released during the stress, so that there will be increase in the level of the glucose in our blood also. So here which is that option we can consider here? Thyroxine, insulin, adrenaline, estradiol. So which is that secreted in our liver? So that is also helping for the synthesis of glucose, that is adrenaline. Got it? Therefore adrenaline is the right option, that is option C is the right answer. Next, in DNA, the linkage between different nitrogen bases or phosphate linkage, hydrogen bonding, glycosidic linkage, peptide linkage. So here as you can consider, in different nucleic acids, there will be presence of nitrogen base. So one nitrogen base of one nucleic unit, that is nucleosidic unit, will be combining with other nucleic acid unit. So that is through what bond? It is not phosphate linkage, so it is hydrogen bonding. So you can observe that hydrogen bonding existing between two nitrogen bases. It is neither glycosidic nor peptide linkage nor phosphate linkage. So which is the right option? That is hydrogen bonding. Next question. Deficiency of vitamin B causes the disease. So you can easily consider that vitamin B complex, that is vitamin B1, actually causes the disease called as beriberi. It is neither convulsion nor chelosis nor sterility. Then which of the following is not a fat soluble vitamin? So ADEK, we can consider these ADEK are said to be soluble in fat. They are fat soluble. Which is that vitamin which is not soluble in water, that is which is not soluble in fat, means that is vitamin B. Because these remaining D, E, A vitamins are soluble in fat. Got it? This vitamin B is not soluble in fat, but vitamin B will be soluble in water. Another vitamin C, it is also soluble in what? It is soluble in water. Vitamin B and vitamin C are water soluble vitamins, and these three will be, they are said to be fat soluble. Got it? Therefore option A is the right answer. Let us move on to the next question. So that is, which one of the following sets of monosaccharides form sucrose? As you know, sucrose is disaccharide that is made up of two monosaccharide units. One is glucose and the one is fructose. And you should be familiar about this glucose and fructose. If you consider closed ring structure, how structure we can consider? There we can consider glucose is having pyranose structure, that is 6-member ring structure, whereas fructose is having furanose structure, that is 5-member ring structure. And even we should be knowing about whether they are having alpha and beta form. So for glucose we will be having alpha D form, and whereas fructose it will be having beta D form. So among these four options we can easily guess out that is option B will be the right answer, because glucose is having pyranose structure and it is having alpha D structure, whereas fructose is having furanose structure and it is having beta D structure. So if you consider other form, that is other options, it is alpha D galactopyranose and it is glucopyranose, it is wrong. Then option C, beta D glucopyranose and alpha D fructose, it is wrong because it is alpha, and alpha D glucopyranose and here it is alpha beta D fructopyranose, it is also wrong. Therefore option B is the right answer, that is glucose is having alpha D glucopyranose structure and fructose is having beta D fructofuranose structure. Therefore option B is the right answer. Next question. Which of the following statement is not true regarding plus lactose? So here we can consider lactose and even maltose, they are also disaccharides. And if you particularly come for lactose, so it is also disaccharide. So here if you move on to the very first option, on hydrolysis plus lactose, then it gives equal amount of D plus glucose and D minus galactose. Actually on hydrolysis it will get dissociate to give two monosaccharide units. Which are those two monosaccharide units? It is made up of glucose and the one is galactose. It is right. So it has given correct statement with respect to option A. Then plus lactose is beta D glucoside formed by the union of molecule of D plus glucose and a molecule of D plus galactose. Actually these are the two monosaccharide units, one is glucose and the one is galactose. They are combined by glycosidic linkage, that is beta glucoside or glycosidic linkage you can consider. That is also right statement. Then option C, lactose is reducing sugar and does not exhibit mutar rotation. So here we can consider lactose, actually it is a reducing sugar. So whichever the disaccharides which are having free either aldehydic group or free ketonic group, then they are said to be reducing sugars. Here we can consider, actually they have mentioned the right statement here, that is lactose is a reducing sugar. There is no doubt in that. But here next off, that is and does not exhibit mutar rotation, they have mentioned. We can't accept this because since lactose is a reducing sugar, obviously it will exhibit mutar rotation. So which are those saccharides which will exhibit mutar rotation? Those which are having free aldehydic group or ketonic group, then they are said to be exhibit in different anomers like glucose is exhibiting alpha form and beta form. Alpha glucose and beta glucose are said to be anomers. So because one form will be changing into the another form, that process where that one anomer is changing into another anomer, that is called as mutarotation. This process is done until they reach the equilibrium state. So whichever the reducing sugars we can consider, they will undergo this mutarotation process. ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ glucose ಅಂತ consider ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, that is actually whatever that lactose is there, that lactose containing glucose and galactose unit, still it is containing free functional group. Therefore we can consider, that is free aldehyde group we can consider. Therefore it can undergo mutarotation. So one form will be, one anomer is changing into another anomer. So it is actually exhibits mutarotation, but here they are mentioned does not exhibit. Therefore it is not right statement, it is wrong statement. And the one more option, that is option D, plus lactose C12H22O11 contains 8 OH groups, we can accept it. Therefore, which is that wrong statement here? Option C. Hence we can consider option C is the right answer. Next, which one of the following does not exhibit the mutarotation? Here also we can consider, you just remember, reducing sugars will exhibit mutarotation. Among these options, sucrose, lactose, maltose, fructose. Monosaccharide units, of course, they are reducing sugars. They will exhibit mutarotation, we can consider. But here, among these, sucrose is the disaccharide, which is not containing free aldehyde group. Therefore, here that is free aldehydic or free ketonic group. Hence, option A is the right answer, because it will not exhibit mutarotation since it is a non-reducing sugar. Next question. The segment of DNA which acts as instrumental manual for synthesis of the proteins. Whatever you can consider regarding the synthesis of protein, there during that synthesis of protein, which is actually acting as an instrumental manual. So here we can consider, for synthesis of protein, any protein which has to be synthesized, there is a initiation. That initiation will be done with the embedded code. So where that code actually present, that code will be present or embedded inside DNA, that is one of the nucleic acid. So where you can find the arrangement of the monomers, that is nucleotides are arranged one after the another in definite sequence. The definite sequence of the arrangement of these nucleotides in nucleic acids, it will be called as gene. There will be genetic code present in the genes. Got it? So that regular arrangement or systematic arrangement of certain, whatever that we can consider nucleotides in nucleic acid, that is called as gene. That gene contains genetic codes which further initiates for the synthesis of one particular protein. Hence we can consider the segment of DNA which acts as instrumental manual for synthesis of the protein is A. Ribose, B. Gene, C. Nucleoside, D. Nucleotide. So we can consider a nucleoside. So here nucleoside is converting into nucleotide. So finally that nucleotide arrangement of those nucleotides will give one particular code, that is nothing but called as gene. Hence specifically we have to opt for option B is the relevant answer. Got it? Now the next question. Fructose reduces tolerance reagent due to. So first option, due to asymmetric carbon. Secondary due to presence of primary alcoholic group. C. Due to secondary alcoholic group. And D. Enolization of fructose followed by conversion to aldehyde by base. So here the right option will be, that is due to enolization. Enolization of fructose followed by conversion to aldehyde by base. So I will explain how it is possible. As you know, fructose, if you say this is the open chain structure, here we can find CH2OH. It is fructose is having, which is that functional group, that is ketonic group. So that is C double bond O. On either side of this carbon atoms, we can find OH, H, OH, OH, and terminally again CH2OH. So actually, whenever this fructose is present in the alkaline medium, we can say that it will undergo enolization. What actually this enolization stands for? So there will be certain rearrangement with respect to the hydrogen atom. As you can find here, there is presence of CH2OH here, and here second carbon C double bond O. Here we can find certain rearrangement is taking place here. Actually, one of that hydrogen carb which is bonded to the first carbon atom, it is lying here. And there will be presence of OH group as it is. But one of the hydrogen atom which is attached to this carbon atom, it will be shifted to this oxygen atom. There will be shifting of bond in between these two carbon atoms. So these two carbon atoms gains double bond and this oxygen atom will get attached to the other hydrogen atom. So actually the hydroxyl group which is bonded to double bonded carbon atom is actually called as enol form. So here it undergo isomerization to give both D-glucose and D-mannose. So it is unstable. It is again converting into D-glucose and D-mannose. As you can find these two structures, there will be change with respect to the second carbon atom as you can mention here. Here initially CHOH, but this H comes to the second carbon atom again as you can find here. So CHO group, here also CHO group. Now both glucose and mannose, they actually contain aldehyde group at the first carbon atom. What happens to the second carbon atom? Now we can find there is the presence of H over here, and here this side for glucose, for the second carbon atom, H is on left hand side, OH is on right hand side. Then we can find H, H, OH, H, H. So that is that code we can consider with respect to glucose as I told you earlier. But with respect to mannose, here instead of HH you will get HOH, then remaining will be same as it is with respect to glucose. There is no change further here. So OH, OH, H, 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 CH2OH. Where you can find the change with respect to the difference with respect to glucose and mannose, that is at the second carbon atom. So except second carbon atom, other will be having similarities. Therefore, both glucose and as well as mannose, they are having free aldehyde group. In that alkali medium, when they are further treated with a Tollens reagent, they can easily reduce Tollens reagent. ಏನು Tollens reagent ಅಂದ್ರೆ, as you know, Tollens reagent is ammonical silver nitrate. The ammonical silver nitrate andre, here we can find that because of that presence of the ammonia with silver nitrate, we can find that combination to give AgNH3 twice plus and 3OH minus. So that is participating in the reaction with aldehyde groups. Then these aldehyde groups can easily undergo oxidation to give COOH, carboxyl group we are going to get, and at the same time silver will get reduced, that is Ag, we are going to get white precipitate of silver because of reduction of the Tollens reagent. Therefore, we can consider both glucose and mannose that can reduce Tollens reagent to give precipitate of silver. Hence, we can consider that is fructose reduces Tollens reagent. What is that reason? Even though fructose is having ketonic group, how come it is possible to reduce Tollens reagent? It is not direct reaction, but in fact, because of presence of that alkali medium, there is a chance for certain quantity of fructose to undergo enolization to give glucose and mannose, which these participate actually in this reaction. That is, they can easily reduce Tollens reagent. Here not fructose is reducing Tollens reagent, but which are those reducing actually Tollens reagent? That is glucose and mannose. ಈಗ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಲ್ವಾ? ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ರಿಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, but there will be certain change, enolization ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, that causes that reduction of Tollens reagent. Got it? So hence, which is that right option? Option D is the right option. That is enolization of fructose followed by conversion to aldehyde by base, then which in turn can reduce Tollens reagent. Next question. Which of the following hormones contains iodine? Here there are different hormones they are mentioned, and one of that hormone they contain iodine. So testosterone, adrenaline, thyroxine and insulin. Here I have given the structure of thyroxine. Here it is one of that is amino acid in which we can find both carboxyl group and NH2 group. And this is attached to, this CH2 group is attached to two phenyl groups. In between there is oxygen. And at terminal position there is constant of OH, of course. And here we can find there are iodides groups get attached to two phenyl groups. They are representing the presence of I. Hence, which is that hormone which contains iodine means exactly the right answer is option C, that is thyroxine. Next question. Which of the following is an amine hormone? this is that hormone which contains amine group. So that is either insulin or progesterone or thyroxine or oxypurin. Exactly, you can easily again think about thyroxine itself. One of that option is thyroxine that I have mentioned. As you can see, thyroxine contains amine group. It is water soluble. You can find that there is a shifting of hydrogen to NH2 group. It will convert into NH3 plus and COO minus. It can easily get soluble in water. Hence, what is that right answer? That is option C is the right answer. That is thyroxine. Here is the next set of questions. In DNA, the complementary bases are. So, you know, there are two types of nucleic acids. One is DNA, other one is RNA. You just simply remember. So, DNA contains ATGC, that is adenine, thymine, guanine and cytosine. Whereas RNA, AUGC, adenine, uracil, guanine and cytosine. Only difference is in case of DNA, we can consider ATGC, thymine will be present. In case of RNA, there will be presence of uracil. So that is ATGC and then AUGC. So ATGC, it is the content present in where DNA. These are the contents present in RNA. So now he is asking for in DNA the complementary bases are. You have to go for that which contains this ATGC. Where do you find that ATGC? So it is not A combination with G, it is wrong. Uracil, not at all. ATGC, it is right option here. ATGU, it is wrong. Hence option C is one and only right answer. Next. RNA and DNA are chiral molecules. Their chirality is due to. So here there will be presence of the chiral content or component present in particularly either in RNA or DNA we can consider. So which is that actually which contains the chiral carbon, that is chiral base or chiral phosphate group or that is phosphate ester units or D sugar and L sugar. So here very importantly you remember that is that one of the sugar component ribose sugar or deoxyribose sugar which is mainly reason for the chirality because it contains chiral center. But there will be confusion whether it is D sugar and L sugar. You just remember whether it is in DNA or RNA, exactly they contain D minus sugar form as a component but not L form. Hence you can consider that is D sugar is the right option. Then which of the following vitamin is water soluble? You know there are fat soluble vitamins and water soluble vitamins. Vitamin B and C are said to be water soluble. Remaining A, D, E, K are said to be water soluble. Hence we can consider this oil soluble. So here which of the following vitamin is water soluble? Here E, K, A, E, D, K they are said to be fat soluble. So which is that water soluble? That is vitamin B. Then the human body does not produce among these enzyme, DNA, vitamins and hormones. So there will be presence of plenty of enzymes. Our body itself can just synthesize this enzyme. Then DNA, it is present inside our biological system itself. There is no need to give the DNA from external source. And vitamins, of course, whatever the food we will intake that contains vitamins. These vitamins cannot be synthesized inside our biological system. They have to be supplied externally, which need to regulate many functions in our body and to control the many hazardous effects on our body, and we can just get protection from many diseases. Then hormones. Hormones are also secreted inside our body itself. Then which are those which are said to not synthesized inside our body? They have to be intake through the food, that is vitamins. So the human body does not produce vitamins. Then identify the enzyme A, enzyme B during the digestion process by hydrolysis. You just remember during the digestion process, proteins they will undergo hydrolysis process. That complex structure of proteins first get converted into polypeptide chains. And these polypeptide chains further undergo hydrolysis to give amino acids. Got it? And here, which are those enzymes A and enzyme B? So among these, invertase, zymase, not at all. Amylase and maltase, we can't accept. Diastase and lipase, we can't accept. This is the pepsin and trypsin. Pepsin is helping for conversion of proteins into polypeptides, whereas trypsin is helping for conversion of polypeptides into amino acids. Then, next question. Which of the following is polypeptide hormone? There is one of that hormone which is polypeptide. So, adrenaline, glucagon, testosterone, thyroxine. It is glucagon which is actually containing the polypeptide which is having 29 amino acids units. Got it? So, it is secreted in our pancreas, that is from alpha cells. Islets of Langerhans which are present in pancreas, they can secrete this glucagon. So, it is polypeptide which contains about 29 amino acid units. Then, which functional group participates in disulfide bond formation in protein? So, actually, if you can consider, there will be one particular functional group which are involved in the formation of disulfide bond. So, that is in the proteins, which is that reason for the formation of disulfide bond. So, which contains sulfur. That is thioester, thioethers, thiol and thiolactone. Actually, it is thiol. That thiol is meant with RSH group. That is SH is nothing but called as thiol. That is, yes, sulfur hydryl, sulfur hydryl, we can call it as sulfur hydryl or thiol, which is bonded to organic compound. That is, R is organic component we can consider. So, that is involved in the formation of disulfide bond. Hence, answer is thiol. That is the right answer. Here we go for last set of questions. Well, firstly, the cell membranes are mainly composed of fats, proteins, phospholipids, carbohydrates. So, actually, phospholipids are embedded in the cell membrane. So, option C is the right answer. Next, a sequence of how many nucleotides in messenger RNA makes a code for an amino acid? For the synthesis of one particular amino acid, there will be presence of code of triplet which contains 3 bases like adenine, that is AUGC, uracil, thymine, guanine. So we can, that is not thymine, AUGC, adenine, uracil, guanine, cytosine. So here we can consider those bases will be present as triplet. So 3 units of bases which are helping for the synthesis of one particular amino acid, they are found in where? Messenger RNA. So hence that option A is the right answer. That code is containing actually 3 sequence of 3 nucleotides. Then the hormone that helps to convert glucose to glycogen is, so it is cortisone, bile acids, adrenaline or insulin. We can exactly easily guess that is insulin is the right answer, because insulin is very much needed for us. It is helping to maintain the glucose level in our blood, and it also helps for the whenever we require glucose energy. So we need for the conversion of glucose, that is glycogen, into glucose. That is done with the help of the hormone, that is insulin. Next question. The correct statement with respect to protein hemoglobin is that it functions as catalyst for biological reactions, maintains blood sugar level, acts as oxygen carrier in blood, forms antibodies and offer resistance to diseases. You can guess out that which is the right option. It acts as oxygen carrier in the blood. So once oxygen get bounded to hemoglobin, it can be called as oxyhemoglobin. It can reach each and every cell in our body. Next, the helical structure of protein is stabilized by dipeptide bonds, hydrogen bonds, ether bonds and peptide bonds. Whatever the nucleotide chain we can consider, that will be having helical structure. The wounding of the ribbon around one nail we can, or screw we can consider, it is having helical structure. To maintain this helical structure, so we can consider there will be presence of NH and CO, carbonyl groups in the base units, in the bases which are present in nucleotides. So that hydrogen bond which exactly exists between hydrogen of NH group with CO of other base unit will be called as hydrogen bond. That hydrogen bond is actually helping for maintaining this helical structure. Therefore, which is the right answer? Hydrogen bonds. Last question. Vitamin B12 contains Fe2, cobalt 3, zinc 2 and calcium 2. Which is the right answer? Actually, vitamin B12 is called as cyanocobalamin. What is that composition? C63, H88, O14, N14, P along with cobalt. So hence we can say that cobalt is the right answer. That is, vitamin B12 contains cobalt in the oxidation 3. So these are the different important questions I have covered, which have been appeared in the previous year's examinations. I think you can practice all these questions and you can keep practicing many other questions under this chapter.